Okay, we're going to look at your knowledge challenge problem B, 7-6, 7-7, and 7-8. Okay, so each one of these is calculating different ratios. You're going to be working right in the Word document that has your problem in it. So what I have on your screen is on the left, I have the statements with all of the information we're going to use to calculate the ratios on the right. So number one, calculate the current ratio for 2015 and 2016. Well, first, we need to know the equation for that is current assets divided by current liabilities. Okay, so for 2015, and actually I'm going to make my font a little bit smaller for this one because this is a longer, excuse me, a longer problem. So for 2015, this one is going to equal, we want our current assets. So we're going to come over here and look at our statement, our balance sheet for 2015, and our current assets are cash, accounts receivable, photography supplies, and office supplies. So the first thing we're going to do is take all of those numbers and add them together. Okay, so that is going to equal our current assets. And then I need to find our current liabilities. And if we look at our liabilities, we have two listed and they are both current liabilities. One is accounts payable and one is salaries payable. So we're going to add those two things together. Okay, and if we add those numbers at the top of our division problem, we're going to get 25,270. And if we add the numbers at the bottom of our division problem, we're going to get 13,700. And if we divide those out, we get 1.85 for our current ratio. Okay, technically it's 1.85 to 1. So again, we're going to do the same thing for 2016. Scroll down here so we can see the 2016 numbers. We're going to take our current assets, what's our cash, our accounts receivable, our photography supplies, and our office supplies, add all of those up. Divide them by our current liabilities, which are accounts payable, and our salaries payable. We add up all of our total assets. You can grab your calculators to do those. We're going to get 21,525. And add up our total liabilities, we get 61,005. And divide those, and we get 3.53. Okay. So that's how we calculate our current ratio. Our quick ratio, the equation for our quick ratio is cash plus our short-term investments, plus our accounts receivable, and then divide that by our current liabilities. Go back to our 2015. Cash in 2015 was $84.50. We didn't have any short-term investments. Accounts receivable was $13,500. Divide that by our current liabilities, which we actually calculated in the problem up here. We calculated our current liabilities at at 12,350 plus 1350 came out to 13,700. I'm going to go ahead and type them out anyway, just so that you can keep track of where the numbers come from. So 12,350 is my accounts payable amount. 1350 is my salaries payable amount. We add all those numbers up for 2015. We're going to get 21,950. Whoops. Sorry about that. Bumped the wrong button. We're going to get 21,950 divided by 13,700, which gives us 1.60. Again, I'm going to do the same thing for 2016. Pulling the numbers from my balance sheet over here. Okay. Cash is 12,100. There are no short-term investments. Accounts receivable is 32.50. Divide that by my current liabilities, which are 58.05 for accounts payable, 300 for salaries payable. And then we're going to get 15,350 divided by 61.05, which gives us 2.51. Okay. The next question asks about our solvency ratios. The first one is debt ratio, and that one is total liabilities divided by total assets. Okay, so for 2015, our total liabilities is going to equal 50. Oops, nope, I'm on the wrong statement. Let me try that again. Total liabilities is 12,350 plus 1350. Divide that by our total assets. Our balance sheet calculates our total assets for us, so we can just use that number. Okay, so that's going to equal 13,700 divided by 37,450, which gives us 36.6%. So our debt ratio is shown as a percentage. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing for 2016. We're going to get our total liabilities for 2016, 5805 and 300. Divide that by our total assets. And that's going to give us 18.9%. Okay, our equity ratio is solved by doing total equity. Equity. I don't know why I couldn't type that one. Divided by our total assets. Okay, so for 2015, my total equity is going to come from my capital. So it's going to be this 23,750 divided by 37,450 divided by my total assets. And that gives me 63.4%. And for 2016, my total equity, total capital was 26,200 divided by total assets, which was 32,305. And that gives me 81.8%. Oops. Okay. Debt to equity ratio, we're looking at total liabilities divided by total equity. So for 2015, we know our total liabilities is 12,350 plus 1350. We're going to use that number a lot. Divided by our total equity, which is our capital, 23,750. And we get 0.58. 2016, total liabilities, 5805 plus 300. Divided by total equity, 26,200. Gives me 0.23. Okay. And our last set of ratios, the first one is profit margin, which comes from, well, let me move this up so you can see what I'm looking at. Net income divided by revenue. So now I'm going to move over here. So far, I've only pulled numbers off of my balance sheet. Now I'm going to come over here to my income statement. My net income is 15,840 divided by my revenue, which is 108,500. And that gives me 14.6%. So our profit margin is listed as a percentage. For 2016, my net income was 1435 and my revenue was 88,500. And when I grab my calculator, that gives me 1.6%. And then our last ratio, calculate the return on assets for 2015 and 2016. Net income divided by average total assets. Okay, this one's a little bit different than the others, not quite as straightforward. If we look at 2015, our net income was 15,840. Okay, we're going to divide that by average total assets. What they mean by average total assets is taking the assets of the current year that you're calculating and adding it to the assets of the previous year and divide by 2. Now, for 2015, we don't have a previous year assets, so we're going to use the total assets we have of 37,450. Okay, so this is going to give us 14.3%, or I'm sorry, 42.3%. Now, for 2016, we know that our net income, our net income, oops, too far, is 1435. We are going to divide this by the average total assets. Okay, so we are going to take the total assets from 2015, which were 37,450. We're going to add the assets from 2016, which were 32,305. Then we're going to divide that by 2. Okay, so this is going to give us 1435 divided by 34,877.50, which is going to give us 4.1%. So the difference between these two is that for the second one, we did have the data to find the average total assets. For the first one, we have no data from 2014, so we just calculate it using the number that we have. Okay, and that is how you calculate some of these ratios that managers use to make decisions. If you have any questions, let me know, and I hope you have a great week.